here's the final run-in. The last thing I want to talk to you about. You're a great player for Aberdeen, and suddenly you become the Celtic manager. I mean, you know, it's a huge leap. But I've never met anybody who embraced that club as much as you for being an outsider.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to explain to people that people who normally take over, they've all got this love for Celtic. Mine was different. I had an admiration for Celtic because I used to have Celtic playing against Hibs. I'd go and watch them, see Jimmy in particular.
Yeah.
So it's other people are born into it. I wasn't born into it.
Yeah.
I kind of got a taste of it, and I thought, great people with this. I like this. So I enjoyed that, and so some of the comments used to get, "Well, here, there's a manager." It was absolutely.
It's a cuddle and a punch, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, they were underwhelmed when I got there. There was, when Brendan was there, 20,000. I was lucky if there was 20. And some of them were right. Yeah. I think they were just at the kind of mega sports shop and walking by going, "Who's that wee guy?" And you get people come, "A wee picture." And the first time I was there, the voice says, "Just a wee picture of Gordon." I went, "Aye, all right." So it's the usual, they're messing about with it and all that. It's taking forever. You go, "Oh." Like, so he gives it his mate, he tries it, he puts his arm in it. "Aye, you're no bad, but you're not as good as Martin O'Neill." What? So that was but it kind of, I just grew into it. I made a mistake by actually saying, "Well, I'm not here to be loved," which was the wrong thing to say. Again, that was media. I wasn't very media savvy, to be honest with you. But you grow into it, and I really enjoyed it, and I've still got great friends there now.
Yeah. If Artmedia was the nightmare, what was the highlight for you? I was there. I mean, I looked at it and I thought, okay, it's now 4-0. This isn't going well.
Yeah, the game going back to the bus. There was about 10 Celtics. "Get yourself back to BBC, you mug, you know." Like, okay. As a matter of fact, I did say to somebody the other day, "So what would be on your gravestone?" Somebody said, "What would be on your gravestone?" I said, "Well, this is still far better than Artmedia."
It was one of those nights where, listen, these things can happen. If I remember rightly, there was a few players who you'd inherited from the Martin era.
Listen, if I could actually write a book about the build-up to that game and what happened during it.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't have happened to any football manager. And they got everything. It could go wrong, went wrong. The build-up was all wrong. There was players coming in who's never met anybody. It was all wrong at that point. But again, when you look back at it now, or even matter of fact, you look back at it a couple of months after, I was only about laughing at some of the things that were going on.
It was mental.
Because
what was the good game though? Was there a game?
Oh, I had one good game.
Oh no, there was more.
I had a good game.
Games, but was there one that you thought to yourself, I know what you're like, you beat yourself up about games, but was there a game where you thought, "Oh, this is magnificent"? Because if that's the low, where's the high?
I think when we had two, there was maybe two, and maybe talking about football, there was the Man United and all that kind of beating AC Milans, but I think when you're talking about character and really having to do it, because when you beat Man United or whatever it is, right, okay, you've done it. But we had to beat Rangers twice at home in the last two games, because the one game was knocked back a bit, so we had to play them twice in 2 weeks at home at night. And we won the two games, and the one in particular where Gary Cole, who's so brave, and the boys come out for the back, and people tell us and he's picked out this pass. I think it was Jan Vennegoor, and he's headed in, and somebody's hit the back of the net, so we had to beat Rangers. And we beat them 3-2, and then we went on to win the league. We had to win because if Rangers got a draw in any of these games, we were beat.
You're ghost.
So, in terms of how we played, the character and the drive and the belief of these players was phenomenal. That was one. I think going to AC Milan and making them, who eventually become the champions, go to extra time.
Yeah.
And my back four, I think that night, somebody remembers me, it cost less than 500,000. It had Gary Colwell, I think, was it Gary Colwell?
McManus?
Telford, McManus and O'Dea.
Yeah. Isn't it great that your games all involve commentaries where I am thinking to myself, take him out, Lenny. Just throw yourself in front of Kaká and let's go to penalties.
The funny thing about it is I was with Lenny on Saturday night and I said to him, why did you decide to retire at the halfway line? Because he's chasing them, and Kaká was a real athlete in a way. And Lenny wasn't as slow as people would make it. By the way, he could run. He was a strong runner. And I said to him, why did you decide to retire just halfway back that pitch? He said, I tried to. But I couldn't even get near his legs, he said.
Yeah.
So, but that was a character in that team. So that type of performance I like. Again, the beating Man United and AC Milan, that happens. That happens in Roma, Man United and this stuff. But when the chips are down, when they're needed to be characters, that, as I said, that night beat Rangers 3-2 and beat them 2-1 the next game.
Yeah.
That's when the chips are down. And that's when you know you've got character, the fitness level comes into it. Because, matter of fact, the guys are using some of the fitness things like Paul Hartley and Gary Cole and all these guys at home, still running these guys to get them fit. And that's when you think, it's all worth it. And you look round at the stadium at that point, and it's rocking.
Yeah.
And I don't care. If you say to me, there's £1 million in your wages, I go, you're all right, keep it, I'm fine. This is just magnificent.
Yeah.
This again, what you're trying, as I speak to you, I'm thinking about, oh, here's a back minute. And if you said to me, there's X amount of money, it wouldn't make any difference in my back pockets. But the fact is, I can sit here and talk to you and go, wow.
Yeah. Two final questions to finish.
Another two.
Just these two.
Right.
Tommy Burns, because you played against him. I knew Tam well, hated getting beat.
I know.
Prof just absolutely moaned the face off anybody who played alongside him. And then suddenly you're there with him.
Do you know, when you look back at it, and I don't know if you've done it in your life, when you think, when you meet somebody and work with somebody for a period of time and you look at them and you go, I wish I was more like you. Yeah, you ever get that with people? I was like that with him all the time. How do you do this? How are you so open-minded? How are you such a giving person? And how you don't get upset with this, that and everything? So it was great for me, and funny enough, and all the things he could laugh at anything really, and he was funny, and I've spoke to you, I've seen him speaking to him. He was funny at all the wrong times, at all the wrong times. When we think life doesn't get any worse, he would make it. He would say something and go, and now when I look back at and you look at it, you go, that was hilarious. And I have to tell people these stories about, when I go about. But there was another side to him, There was a devil in him,
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously, I would got hurt many a time.
Yeah.
Many a time. Wonderful footballer. Again, he was one of these guys that played in that period where, you've got the Sunesis and all these guys in midfield and all that, and Tommy couldn't get in the team as such at the Scotland side. Another time, he gets in there. So he had this devil about him as well, and he could actually clatter you a bit.
Yeah, it reminds me, you mentioned there about his devilment, and of course the ability to kind of destabilise people. If it was that one-liner, it was, as you say, that moment. I mean, sadly, Walter Smith passed away, but we'd laugh about the time. McCoyston and Smith used to laugh with me and say, he fell asleep in one of my team talks,
right,
and then woke up and said, is he finished?
And he would be like that with people. And you know how you get together after a game in the Celtic Rangers with the staffs that they get. They were good staff, you could talk. And Tommy's, I thought you did well today, fantastic, great, nice to see you boys, all the rest. Well, drink, brilliant. And you see them, and as soon as out the door, never liked that lot, honestly. They were all about, he was brilliant. He was, and matter of fact, I've got to say, I would say 3 times a week, somehow I speak about him, and sometimes I think, am I speaking about him too much, and giving away too much? But I think the more I give away, the more the legend will grow, which it doesn't need to grow, to be honest with you. But I just do feel that his stuff needs to be shared.
Yeah, well,
with everybody.
It's one of those things that you mentioned, those moments that you shared with him. I think everybody is lucky enough to have had even 0.0.01 of his percent of him.
Yeah.
He left a mark on you. From my point of view, I remember phoning him and saying, look, Tam, I want you to come to my stag night. I'm getting married. And he took over and he just said, no, we're not having a stag night. We're having a stag game. Get the boys for Edinburgh that you hung about with. and I'll come through, and it was him, Jimmy Mack, Billy Stark, and we had a game of 11 a-sides for my stag night. There was no stag night of a bevy.
No.
We played
He
on
wasn't a
side.
drinker though. He
No,
didn't
no,
drink.
it was brilliant. But he was like that, and the boys just he noised everybody up, and he had a great laugh. He was like that though, wasn't he? He was just he made you feel the most special person.
I think Alistair's like that. Ali's like that. He's a radiator. When he comes into the room, he radiates.
Yeah.
And he had that. So does Ali. There's people come in the room with drainers. You go, where'd the atmosphere go? You know. But there's people who come in and radiate. And I would have loved to have played more football with them. It'd been great if I could have played at Celtic with them and Aiken, but I had the other group up there.
Yeah.
But his best thing I ever did in my life was make him to work with me.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And the last point on that, and it's where we'll finish, because it's been an absolute joy whipping my way through your career at different points. What did it mean to you to be the Celtic manager? Was it all that you thought it was going to be? Was it better? Are you so proud of the fact that what you achieved on a fraction of a budget of other managers?
Do you know that the best thing about being a Celtic manager, and matter of fact, everybody's incredibly positive when I meet them, and I keep saying, where were you when I needed you? Where were you guys? We could have filled a stadium when you got. No, but that's the most important thing. No matter where I go in the world, I meet somebody for Celtic.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing. So, you know that thing about you never walk alone? Well, you're not really. Because no matter where I go, there's always, because I'm kind of distinctive, small and ginger and whatever, the big nose. There's always, hey, wait man, Celtics, right, okay. So I meet people that way. So again, no matter where I go in the world, you think, well, I'm going to meet somebody in a minute. You know. So that's a huge bonus from it. Did I enjoy it? There was moments you can't explain to people. I have to tell you, when you win a game of football in this place, it's heaving. And you realise you've sent 60,000 people, plus another few million around the world, happy. It's a great thing. Similar to the Scotland thing, but it's more so the Scotland thing. You can make a nation happy. You can disappoint them as well. That's the big problem. But the Celtic thing, the fact it is, no matter where I go in the world just now, I mean, everybody is so friendly to Leslie and myself. And if I don't meet a Celtic supporter that day, I meet a Leeds United supporter. And we're just so lucky as a family that we can do that. And it's great. I even spoke the other night. If I didn't have these experiences, I wouldn't be here. So then I wouldn't be enjoying myself having a chat.
Yeah. Gordon Strachan, it's been a joy.
Brilliant. Thank you. Ta.
If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel.